What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. We are here on a Monday. It is Monday, the 15th of July. Euros over, football not coming home. We'll be discussing Euros a bit as well, but as always, talking about the latest Palace news, and that is, as you can see from the title, Emile Smith Rowe update. He's been rumored, potentially as a bid being rejected. We're looking into that, and also the other rumors as they've been coming on. As always, if you do enjoy it, like, subscribe, let us know your thoughts in the live comment section. As usual, T, how you doing, man? I know we haven't been able to talk pre-show because you was running a bit late, but how you been?
What going, bro? I'm good, man. Doing well.
Games yesterday? I guess you could have watched both games.
Yeah, I watched both of them. Man. Tough ones
Yeah,
for
let's
sure,
start off England then, quickly. As it just happened yesterday. What do you make of it? For me, I think Spain were the favourites anyways going into the game. More chances. Spain, I think, deserved that as well. If you look at the tournament as a whole, the football that they've played, the teams that they've beat, but it hasn't happened again.
Yeah, I mean, I think, going into it naturally, I think Spain was the favorite. I think there just was a lot of hope put into the outcome of it, especially when we started the match and then we were able to pull even. I think that a lot of hope was placed into the fans and even the side at that moment. But it's a tough one, man. I mean, you lose to a really, really good team, man. I don't think that England played bad in that match, though, for sure. But it's tough.
I've said it all along. I do not rate Southgate. I do think he's a nice guy, and you could make no way people can say he's the most successful manager ever since England's won World Cup, because he's brought no success. He's maybe the most competitive, but there's no success. There's nothing to answer for it. 2 finals, 2 losses. For me, I think if you look at the tournament as a whole, the Slovakia game, the Switzerland game, in general, England, even in the group games, England weren't playing particularly great. And you just look at the Spanish manager, you look at their system, look at the fact that they won a trophy. He's only been there 2 years. He was also part of the youth setup. He's been there less than 2 years. Won a Euros, played very good football, beat quality teams, and deserved it. Southgate, there's always excuses. It's always something. When you look at this England squad, you look at the likes of Harry Kane. There's a lot of players that didn't perform at the levels they should be.
A lot of guys that shouldn't even been in the squad to perform.
Yeah, why is Phil Foden one of the best young talents when he's at City? Why is he so bad for England? Why is Harry Kane so off it? Even Bellingham, for me, he scored some big goals, but for me, overall, this tournament, in terms of that actual 90-minute impact, it's quiet. There's players that I can count on one hand that were good enough for England, consistent. And I'm not even being biased. Guehi, Saka, Mainoo wasn't that great yesterday, but he's had a pretty solid tournament. Not that many players were great. England, I think, just kind of winged it through. And at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about winning the tournament. And even if you don't play great and you go to the final and win it, it would have been great. But it's the same old stories. So for me, I think he's massively overrated as a manager. I would never have him at Palace. I've said this all along. And yeah, let's see what the future holds. But also, might as well have a quick shout out for Colombia as well. Unfortunately, Munoz and Lerma on the defeating side. No Palace players are coming back with trophies.
Yeah, that's tough, man. You definitely wanted that. Definitely wanted that for the club, for the guys. You know what I mean? It would have been great. And Colombia had a heck of a performance too against Argentina. They played a good match overall, man.
It was delayed. Argentina. I couldn't watch it. It was like 4 a.m. here that it started.
Because the game. I don't know if you heard, but the game kept getting delayed because people were breaking into the stadium and trying not to. There was people going through the ventilation system.
Yeah, I saw that.
Stadium.
So T, you tell me, you're over in the stateside. How is the World Cup going to work if that's happening?
Bro, that's the thing that comes up to me. That's the same thought process that comes to my head. Now, what I can say is I think that with something like this taking place, that I think they underestimated the type of crowd that they would be getting at that type of event. I think Miami might have underestimated the power of football by not having enough people to control the crowd like that. I've never heard of anything like that at a
Yeah,
sporting
it's just
here.
yeah.
Never seen anything like that.
They need to sort
So,
something. Well,
so if
I guess the
anything, I
demand's
think what
not
it
there
does, but I
for
think what
normal
it
games.
does, man, I think what it does is it sets it up to where the security at the World Cup is going to be crazy. Like there's no way in hell they're going to let that happen. You know what I mean?
It has to be. I mean, it's kind of exposes the flaws right now in terms of the security.
Exactly. So
I'll be
actually,
honest,
it's probably better that did happen prior to the World
football's
Cup.
growing in the States. It has massively, but I don't think games are played at this capacity. Maybe at that ground, or maybe it might be in a bit of a shock in terms of the amount.
I think part of it is a lot of times when you see the popularity of football growing here, the growth we're seeing is with American fans, and in this particular match, the majority of the fans weren't American fans. You got fans. You had a ton of South American, Latin American fans that were trying to attend this event, and they probably they see the game in a different way possibly.
The World Cup as well.
Yeah, so they gotta step it up. They gotta step it up with the security.
Yeah. Also, quick shout out to Guehi. I think he was named in part of the best 11 in the Euro squad. Everyone's talking about him. Everyone's raving on about him. And plus, there's an update on his future at Palace as well, which we're going to get into. Don't worry, people. Might as well get through this bit of news, a bit of catch up of the Euros. He's going to get that demand. He's going to get that demand. But, I mean, he deserves to be in that 11 because, as I said, I thought he was one of England's most consistent players throughout the tournament. Like, he was fantastic.
Absolutely. I think what he did is what a lot of Palace fans in particular expected him to do, like the quality, the level, and things like that. So I think his performance definitely has warranted a higher price to be called for a guy like him. If I'm being quite honest, I mean,
it's not us; it's the neutrals. I mean, that's why.
I don't think people would argue the price anymore.
They're saying, they're saying, I kind of understand now about the 80 million. Well, he was taking the piss, laughing at me when I said, it's worth 70 to 80 million pounds for Palace. And I told you this like 6 months ago, and they were saying what pissed me off the most. They're like, no, he's at most 30 to 40 million pound player. Just literally get lost, man. That's why I can't deal with talking to people who just don't watch Palace plays. Like, it's not like we're raving on about him just because he plays for Palace. Of course, there's going to be a bit of bias there, but these players are genuinely quality. We spoke about Elisa, we spoke about Eze, spoke about Guehi. Walton's going to be another player. Some people might say, he's lacking experience, maybe 50, 40 million pounds. Just get lost, man. Just get lost. There's a reason why these players are valued so highly at the club.
Exactly.
And major tournament. But yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens with Guehi. We're going to talk about him. But before we actually get into news, now that international football's over, how excited are you for club football? It's like a new week, new start. This Friday, there's a game against Charlton, a friendly, which I might be doing a watch along. We might be doing watch along. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Let us know if you would like that. It feels good. It feels good. Like, I know there's been a lot of worry about transfers and this and that, Elise leaving, but nothing major has happened yet. I mean, people talking about Guehi leaving, Eze leaving. It hasn't happened. Nothing's happened yet. They're just panic, anxiety. That's caused for no reason. I mean, they just finished a major tournament. There's been rumors going on for a while. But let me go through the chat. If Guehi goes, do you think we replace him, or do you think we trust Joa, Richards, Riyadh, or Holding Link? No, we're gonna talk about Guehi. Keep your comments for that. Walker and Guehi were at fault for the second goal. Let's not gloss over that. Had a great tournament, but that goal was an issue. For me, Patrick, you can talk about maybe for the second goal, Walker, Guehi, but Walker's been absolutely shambolic. He's been a joke of a player throughout the whole tournament, one of England's worst players. So maybe Guehi had one moment of slip up, but without Guehi, I don't know if England's even in the finals anyways. Guehi and Saka. I think for me, those were the two significant plays. But Walker itself just stank the place. Even when you look at the first goal, it comes Nico Williams. Where's Walker once again? Just loses him. There's no way City have Walker playing there. next season and starting. There's no way Pep is that stupid. He's not. So he's gonna the decline this tournament I've seen from Walker is absolutely ridiculous. Like he just lost it. He's just dropped like another 2 levels. I don't know what's happened to him, but yeah, everything about his game just seems off. Stones kept the Spaniard on side. Let's be honest, Spain are a team, and we were pretending to be. Yeah, look, Spain are quality side. There's nothing to be ashamed of losing against Spain. But for me, I think Southgate, how I see it is, yeah, I do not rate him highly at all. And I feel like another manager will be able to do a better job. Luke saying, if I'm being honest, it should have been England versus Germany in the final, but Spain rigged it against Germany. I wouldn't say Spain rigged it. Spain's deserved everything so far. You can say that England could have potentially rigged it with the penalty decisions that they got as well. So, yeah, it depends on how you look at it. Mitch saying, Walker was always a speed merchant and now he's getting into his 30s. No big mystery. Yeah, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. He's getting to his 30s, but the drop-off is just crazy. But anyways, enough of England. Let's actually talk about some Palace-related stuff. And let's start off with, of course, what's on the title as well. And that is for Emile Smith Rowe, who has been linked with us for, you know, good amount of the summer. He's been mentioned. And according to Sky Sports, Arsenal have apparently rejected bids from Fulham and Palace for Emile Smith Rowe, the player at Arsenal, who hasn't really had that many opportunities. He hasn't, due to injuries and various different reasons. Discussions are ongoing at both clubs over whether to go back for the player. Smith Rowe wants to assess all options. Regular first-team football is his primary motivation. I'll be honest, I would love Smith Rowe at Palace. I would, but from the energy that I've been getting from him and all the reports is that he wants to stay at Arsenal. I don't know why, because he's not going to get the opportunities there, but he wants to stay at Arsenal. According to this report, he wants to play first in football, and I think we can offer that. Then again, we've got Kamada there, so I don't know if he would be able to offer that as a guarantee. Maybe if Eze left, then there's that slot there. But even if Eze didn't leave, I think Smith Rowe would be a fantastic addition to the club. I'll never forget this report. There was a report, I think pretty much when the season ended, that Palace might be looking at top 6 clubs and trying to find gems that don't really have many opportunities. For me, Emile Smith Rowe fits into that category. There's other players like Reece Nelson as well that fits into that categories where they're at big clubs. They've got quality players there. They're not getting much opportunities, but they've got the talent. And I think Smith Rowe is a player on that level. So for me, I would love Smith Rowe. Now, what is a bid that was rejected? The price. No clue. The fee's not involved there, but Arsenal would probably want a good chunk of money. Would Palace be willing to pay that? I'm not too sure as well. But yeah, we need to. I'm not going to get carried away by this report that got rejected and say that, oh, we're going to go and put another bid in and we're going to go after him full out. It's just hard to say right now without knowing the figures involved. But I do know that Arsenal would not want to let him go for cheap. Unfortunate news now. I don't want Smith Rowe. Let us know. Would you want Smith Rowe at Palace behind Kamada? Does it start ahead of Kamada? Is he as a replacement? Like, where do you see this fitting in? Of course, there's been Nusa mentioned and various Villagine, who's gone to Villa now. Various players being mentioned so far, but Smith Rowe has been one of them. Would we be happy with him as potentially at least his replacement? For me, I think he's got a talent, man. I think he's got a talent. I don't want Smith Rowe. Go for Nusa or Asprella instead. Says unfortunate. This is about Southgate. He didn't take Mitchell and Walton got 0 minutes. That's just Southgate for you. Let me go through some of the comments. T will be coming back. He just got something work related right now that he just has to quickly sort out. But yeah, for me, Smith Rowe is a great talent. Also, he's still fairly young as well. When we're talking about what we're trying to do as a football club, get these players, sell them on for profit. He's only 23 years old. And it feels like he's been about for ages. I mean, Smith Rowe at Arsenal started at a young age. He's from Croydon, so he's a Palace local. But it's just a price. Let me just actually try to see what price. There's a report from TalkSport, and I want to see if they've got a price there. Because the headline says that they're looking at bids of £25 million. That's not too bad. That if that TalkSport rumor is true for Emile Smith Rowe, £25 million is realistic, I think, but especially with with Palace and how much they're willing to spend. I mean, we spent that kind of money on players as well. I mean, Walton 20 to 25, depending on add-ons. France are around the same region, so it's doable. It's doable. I'll be honest, I'm surprised. I thought Arsenal would have wanted a higher fee for Smith Rowe, so I was a bit worried in that stance. But I mean, we don't know how we started the bid. God knows how much we were offered. But if this report from TalkSport is true, that they want around £25 million, of course, there'll be like a selling clause that they would include. That's natural. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Spiritual saying you don't want Smith Rowe. I want Smith Rowe. Who doesn't want Smith Rowe? I've literally said it like 20 times that I want Smith Rowe. Luke saying, do you think Colombia would have won if Munoz didn't get a red card? I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. I can't talk about it. It's 4 a.m. over in the UK when the game was going on, as the game was delayed quite a few times as well. Talk of Guehi going for a while. How much did Euros? We'll save this comment because we're going to be talking about Guehi. Adam was saying, I'm not keen on an expensive player with a worse injury record than Eze and Elise combined. Fair enough. I mean, when we talk about Elise's injury record, we did talk about him being mismanaged. Of course, I don't know exactly what's been going on with Smith Rowe, but 25 million is not too bad, though. Would you not be happy with us taking a gamble on Smith Rowe, who's 23 years old, who knows the Premier League, who's been training at Arsenal? He's looked solid for Arsenal as well when he has played, in my opinion. He just hasn't had consistent opportunities for him to show himself. Glasner could make Stern John into a good player. Glasner known to walk if not backed. We need depth and can't sell all of our stars. Fair enough. But let's move on from the Emile Smith Rowe rumors. But let's see if we try putting another bid for him. I'd be surprised if the fee is that, if they're commanding a low fee like that, which I think is low. I would be surprised if we don't try again, especially for potential England international. Smith Rowe has only started 3 games in the past 2 seasons for Arsenal. He'd be very rusty. But I mean, if he plays consistently at Palace and he brushed off that rust, then there's a player that we could potentially make a profit on. So there is that as well. How much game time can we offer Smith Rowe is what's important here. Yeah, that's what the report suggests as well. Like, he wants to have game time, but I think Kamada coming in just makes the whole situation complicated now. It does, because I don't think this Elise replacement will be a direct Elise replacement. I think Kamada will be starting games. And maybe that's why Philogene couldn't go ahead, or maybe that's why, these talks about other players are still going on. Because I think when it comes to guarantees, how much guarantees can we realistically make at this current moment of time? I don't think we can make many. And I think people realize that once they see Kamada as well. He's not a bad player for Elise replacement. And in fact, he's a very good player to have. And we might have technically replaced Elise already. But then again, I still feel like we need one more. But that one more, if it's a young player, ideally they would want some type of guarantees to be playing. I think Smith Rowe, maybe that's the hurdle. Maybe it might not be the fee. Maybe it might be the game time. It could be down to that. But yeah, Fulham can give him more game time. I'm not too sure about that. Probably, because right now, even if you take Fulham out of the equation, I don't know how much guarantee that we can give for Emile Smith Rowe at this current moment of time. But if you're enjoying the stream, people, like, subscribe. There's nearly 80 of you here, so much appreciated if you can just hit the like button to help the algorithm and more. Young keeper, gone to Exeter on loan. Super Joe Whitworth in Devon. Yep, he's gone. It's not a surprise. I still expect personally Sam Johnson to be leaving this window as well. And there were rumors last week, so let's see exactly what happens with that as well. Marcus Edwards, the most exciting summer link so far. No, not really. Not for me. Because I don't think that's realistic. I mean, 50 million euro rumor is just absolute nonsense. I mean, that's going to get rejected straight away. And Tottenham getting money off him as well. I think they got 30% of the deal. So I'm not really hopeful of Edwards. So it's not. He's an exciting player, but I'm not really excited because I just don't see anything like that happening at this current moment of time. Patrick saying, totally forgetting we have Franca, we have a left-footed 10, not another right-footed player for balance. Yeah, I mean, I think that left-hand side is sorted when we're looking at the 10 position under Glasner. I think if Eze was to stay, even if Eze was to leave, we find another replacement. But down the left-hand side, Eze, Franca, that's the two. For me, anyways, that's the two. Now, down the right-hand side, Kamada and who? Kamada and Ayew. Kamada, Jez. I think Jez is going out on loan. Then again, it's that Kamada, Ayew, Kamada, Jez, or whatever. I think with France, there's that young player potential that could come off the bench, exciting, flair. I know we haven't seen much of it last season because of his injury, but that's how it works. So I think down the right-hand side, I think with Kamada, we have to find that equivalent to France are. But then again, you kind of have to try attract these players whilst not giving them guaranteed game time. Then again, who at Palace has guaranteed game time under Glasner? I think we need these players will play, but they might not be starting games because of the system that we play. The system is very demanding. We saw it last year. High press, 38-game season, cup competitions. If you want to take that seriously, like we need the depth. But some of them may say, Fulham's offering me more potential game time than Palace. So why would I go Palace rather than Fulham? So they might have that thinking as well behind it. So yeah, we could be saving money by moving Ume up the first team. Certainly looks ready. Looks ready at academy football, but I mean, not just Ume. When we're looking at potential youngsters, I think Imre was the one for me anyways in this preseason. But now's the time to show Glasner what you can do. If Glasner rates you, then he could potentially give you that go. But regardless of that, I think we still want to sign another player, which makes sense. But look, people, let's see with Emile Smith Rowe. I'm pretty sure it won't be the first and the last time that we speak about him. But yeah, he's been rumoured, potentially a bid rejected according to Sky Sports. If we go for him again, TalkSport saying he's meant to be worth 25 million to Arsenal. So let's see if we go for him again. Now, a player that we've known about, that's been rumoured away for ages due to contract reasons, due to just general interest, and that is Marc Guehi. According to Fabrizio Romano, Liverpool and Arsenal are interested in Marc Guehi. However, no negotiations have begun. There's a lot to pick here. There's a lot to pick about Guehi here. What should we start with first? Let's start with the clubs interested. And I just want to start with Arsenal first of all. Arsenal ones makes no sense to me. They're about to sign Calafiori, another defender. Saliba, Gabriel's there. Unless they sold one of the two, it doesn't make any sense for Guehi to go there. Guehi has proven himself in this tournament, has proven himself at Palace, which people have ignored, that he is a Premier League starter. If he's joining the top 6 team, he has to be starting. He can't be sitting on the bench. I think he's proven himself there. So the Arsenal rumours don't worry me at all. Liverpool now, new project. So there could be a potential there. Van Dijk's getting a bit older as well. At what point do they move on from Van Dijk? I think he's got 1 year left in his contract. There's Konate there as well. Liverpool, a bit more realistic. Now, fees. Do we see any of these clubs paying the money that Palace want? Arsenal, no, because it's not an urgent demand and they're literally signing another left centre-back / left back. Liverpool, they've been very quiet all window. Even speaking to Liverpool fans, they're expecting something to happen now that the Euros is over. That's been the excuse. But Liverpool really desperate for a 70 to 80 million pound defender? Or could that value be dropped? There is that as well. Could that value be dropped for Marc Guehi? And the reason why I say that is these next few weeks is going to be crucial due to the contract situation. The contract situation makes this even more interesting. If Guehi had 4 to 5 years left on his contract, then the answer is a bit more straightforward. Arsenal, no. Liverpool, they can try, but they're not going to be 70 to 80 million pounds. But are Palace holding on for that price? What if Guehi says, no, I do not want to sign a new deal? He's got 2 years left in his contract, by the way. 2 years. After the season, next summer, that's only a year left. And you can't really be asking 70 to 80 million pounds for a player with a year left on his contract. So could Palace take a cut? What is that cut? 60 million pounds for Guehi? Could that get a deal if he rejects a new contract? But look, if he accepts a new contract, I think we can, all move on from this. I've said it. I've been open on here and also on my socials as well. As much as I love Guehi, as much as I rate Guehi, if we got around 70 to 80 million pounds for him, I would be happy selling him in this window. I have faith in Glasner's system. I think when it comes to centre-backs, we saw it even last year as well. Players can step up. And the replacements have looked exciting so far. So I think we could do good amount with that money if we got, the 70 to 80 million pound. But anything lower needs to be seriously, it still needs to be considered if he doesn't sign a new contract. I think it all falls down to that contract situation. So let's see what happens in the next few weeks. According to Romano, no negotiations have actually begun yet, but we were expecting this. We were expecting, I mean, even during the Euros, there were a few rumors here and there. But now that Euros is over and we're talking about a player at the start of the show literally being in the best 11 Euros team, it's going to be normal. These rumors will be here. But Guehi has a bit of power in this situation as well due to his contract. And I wonder if he does sign a new deal or if he doesn't. Let's see what the chat is thinking about this rumor. United would give us Wan-Bissaka and a few chips. United, well, according to Romano, United are not interested. Then again, they are after centre-halves as well. It seems like Yoro, who they were after, one of the players anyways, it seems like he would be, he prefers to join Real Madrid. So potentially United might come in the fold. But then again, it seems like United under this new ownership, they're a bit tight. Like they don't want to overspend. Because, I mean, before United are known for overspending. That's why they've done some really bad business. But under this new ownership, they want to pay the money for Guehi. How much should they value him? Because, I mean, they've had problems with Everton trying to get Jared Brownwaite. So, I don't know. I don't know if they would actually go for Guehi or would accept the offer or not. Luke saying Guehi playing for 2 clubs. Wow, imagine that. I can see Guehi to Liverpool. I can see Guehi to United. Both realistic. It's just Arsenal is not realistic for me. I don't think Arsenal really. I mean, Arsenal can ask, but I don't think they're going to pay the price. And I don't think Guehi would join Arsenal. I'd be extremely shocked about that situation. Anderson has guaranteed playtime under Glasner. Not only Anderson, there's a few other players that have guaranteed playtime as well. Under Glasner, I mean, Guehi, Anderson, Richards. For me, I think that's a free. Maybe with Riyadh coming in. Let's see what he does in preseason. Friday, of course, the first game begins. But yeah, we'll see exactly, where he fits in the fold. But for me, I think that's the free that's starting. But then again, if you get good amount of money for Guehi, the replacements that's been reported, we should be able to replace him. I'm not really worried about that as much. So that should be fine in that regards. Let me know how much is. Let's say Guehi doesn't accept the new deal. Let's say Guehi says, I'm sorry, Palace. I'm not accepting a new deal. After 2 years, I'm going to be leaving the football club if you don't sell me now. How much is Guehi realistically worth then? Because we lose power like that. How much would he be happy selling Guehi if he was not to accept the new deal? Of course, if he accepts a new deal, Guehi staying this summer, that case is closed. I think the only way he might leave is because of that new deal not being accepted, the contract. How much would he be worth then? 2 years left right now in his contract. Let's see what the chat thinks. For me, Guehi not accepting a new deal and saying, look, I don't want to sign it. After 2 years, I'll be leaving if you don't sell me. If we can somehow still get 55 to 60 minimum, that would be good. But I think then again, he's still undervalued. It is undervalued. But then, realistically, Guehi is worth 70 to 80 million pounds. But if he, there's that risk that he will leave for free. And next summer, his value will drop anyway. So unless Palace want to play the long game and say, even if you don't accept the new deal, we still want to keep you. And next summer, we will sell you. Then I don't think the club would want to do that. I think the club would rather sell him now than sell him next summer where, he's only got a year left on his deal. So we kind of lose that negotiation powers. But yeah, Riyadh, higher ceiling than Richards. I'm not going to get carried away right now because, Richards has been fantastic for us. But let's see how he does in preseason. He still has to settle into Palace, new country, new teammates, new system, new everything. So let's see what actually happens before we make them bold claims. But I mean, Riyadh's got a good ceiling. I think if he develops well on the Glasner, which I think he will, he can go all the way to the top, and maybe he could be like a underrated replacement signing already. But then again, we will sign another centre back if Guehi was to leave. There's no way we'd sell Guehi and still be happy with our situation. Like we would have to sign another centre back. But I want to see figures. What do you think Guehi is worth if he was not to sign a new deal? If he signs a new deal, this conversation not happening in the first place anyways. I can't even remember a time where we had so many players in such high demand, probably the best squad we've ever had. And there's a lot of people saying that Palace are going to lose their players. There's a lot of comments about that. You know, all the neutrals saying Palace are going to lose their players. Palace are going to lose Eze, Guehi, Elise. I don't think it's that black and white. I mean, Eze's been rumored to leave. Guehi's been rumored to leave. Elise is now officially gone. But we're going to try our best to try to keep these players. And we have to try and make sure we keep Glasner happy. Look, bringing in Glasner is fantastic. We've seen what he can do last season in terms of, you know, the approach that he's had with the system, getting the most out of players. But we also have to back him in the market. We have to show that, you know, we want to be that club in terms of pushing for European spots. What exactly Glasner wants, for example, we need to show that in the market. So this window is significant. It is significant. You know, if we have a mediocre window, which I'm not saying we will, there's no reason to panic right now because, I mean, only Elise is left and we've still got so much time to find replacements and sort out the squad. But I'm saying if it was a mediocre season, mediocre window, then yeah, it's not going to be a great look for the ownership, especially in Glasner's first summer. We spoke about Emile Smith Rowe. We're just on Marc Guehi right now. For me, I think it just all depends on his contract situation. According to reports from Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal and Liverpool are interested. No negotiations have actually begun. But things get interesting. We talk about 70, 80 million pounds, but can Palace demand that if Guehi says no to a new deal? And he's only got 2 years left in his contract?
I think we can still demand that and try to get that just because of the fact that
I mean, you put on the other side. I mean, if you're Liverpool, why would you pay 80 million pounds for a player that's not willing to sign a new deal? Like, let's say the reason why I'm putting this scenario out there is because, of course, if he signs a new deal, this whole thing is over. Like, he's not leaving.
Yes, all for now. Yeah.
If he doesn't sign a new deal, the question is, what we value him, we might not be able to get that now because we kind of lost power just there. Clubs will know that he's not signing a new deal.
I guess a lot of it, I think it boils down to how Palace sees the situation, because if we have an $80 million valuation on Marc Guehi right now with 2 years left on his contract, and we say that to Liverpool, we say that to Arsenal, but in our minds, even though we're saying we want 80, we know what our bottom number is. It's like we'll tell them 80. It could be 65. Like if it's 65 million, maybe that's our bottom number. So you say 80.
Around 55 to 60.
I don't know. I mean, I hope that we wouldn't go for less than 60. That would kind of be my preference, for us to not go less than 60. But I think the thing is, like, okay, we tell them 80. Naturally, I mean, it's just negotiation tactics. It's like, you know, you're not going to put out your bottom number to somebody on the front end. That's how you get less than what your bottom is. So if our bottom is 65 million, we're not going to go out and just tell them 65 million is our number from the beginning, because what are they going to do? They're going to come in and try to give us 60 or try to give us 55. So it's like, if 60 is our bottom number, you put out 80, maybe they come back and say, cool, we won't give you 80, but we'll give you 75, or we'll give you 70. And now
these clubs paying that amount. Well, Arsenal 100%.
They do it all the time. I mean, they do it all the time. I mean, Matthias de Ligt has gone for $180 million combined in his last two moves.
Yeah, but then we're talking about these Premier League clubs. It's different. Man United don't want to. For example, Man United, we're looking at the situation with the Everton defender Jared Brandwave. They don't want to pay the amount. They don't want to pay the £75 million. That's what Everton put on as a price tag. They're not included in this report, but Liverpool. It depends if they sell Van Dijk or if they sell one of the players, or
I guess the thing about it is it's how they see the value on a player. Braithwaite hasn't made any international appearances, so he hasn't played at a super high level. Like, maybe there are certain ways that they're breaking down the cost structure. And Man United has spent a ton of money in other places. Maybe they can't just spend that money right now. You know what I'm saying? But maybe a Liverpool and an Arsenal got the money to do it. And if they don't, so be it. I mean, even if I think Marc Guehi stays for another season and goes into a contract year and we end up having to sell him for like 40 million, we still doubled our profit on him before we lost him.
I wouldn't want that though.
I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to lowball sell him right now. Is all I'm saying. If I have to hold on to him and sell him for double this time next year, fine. But I'm not going to sell him for that right now.
Well, yeah, you weren't selling for 40, but for me, if
what is 10 million more? What is 50 million?
55, I'll sell him for 55. It's not good, but I'll take 55 because I think next summer, I think as you said, we might reach the 40 million pound figures because if he's only got a year left on his deal, and I think that's why the next few weeks. And it's funny, as soon as the Euro is over, we expected it. Guehi to be linked because he's been great for England. But I think it is crucial to, a few weeks or a month or however long it takes for this contract news to be sorted and for us to see whether he signs a new deal or not. Because we've seen contrasting reports. We've seen reports saying that he does. We've seen reports saying he doesn't. So let's actually see what happens. If he signs a new deal, that's fantastic. We have enough to worry about. Maybe he signs a new deal with a release clause. Now, sometimes you just have to have the release clauses for the players to sign. But if it's like another £60 million or £55 million release clause, would you want that, T? I mean,
I probably once again, I think I would want I would want the release clause to be what I would consider my floor number.
What if he doesn't want to sign with for that release clause? What if he's like, I'll sign for a release clause, I'll sign a new deal if you have a release clause of £55 million? What if that's the situation? Get involved in the chat as well. But for me,
55 million isn't horrible, but it's not optimal for the club.
The point is maybe, okay, there might be a point in terms of keeping him and sign that release clause because we're talking right now, if he doesn't sign a new deal, we're talking what? We would want to sell him for 55, 60 million pounds. So I guess if we have another year of Guehi and then we can sell him for the same amount, then instead of the 40, when he has a year left on his deal, I think it'll be very hard to get that kind of figure. Yeah, it'll be hard to get that. And it might be worth signing that, new contract with that release clause because you still get another year out of Guehi and you might get the same value that you
can still get that same value that right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess, and with that being said, maybe that 55 to $60 million release clause is amenable then.
Yeah, so maybe the club might be tempted, but hopefully the best case scenario is he signs a new deal, he has a release clause of at least £70 million, and he stays. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, but that's definitely.
The club also came for £70 million right now this window. I'll sell him. Yeah. I've said this. I'll sell him as good as he is. Yeah. Question is, what would that release clause be? I could see it being 50 mil. Hopefully not. I think 55 to 60. Palace might be more open signing. I think 50 million. Maybe they might. It just depends on the situation. It's hard to see from the sidelines exactly what Palace would want. That's none of us truly know what Marc Guehi wants. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Now let's look out for it.
All we got is reports and conjecture. So
yeah, let's look out for it now. Now that the Euro is over, then talks will actually begin. Things will start getting serious. Trust me. It should be. Let's move to some of the questions. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, people, like, subscribe, please. Helps the algorithm, helps us grow the channel. We are close to 5,000 subscribers, so every bit of help helps 100%. So make sure to do that. Let's move to the questions. Dan saying, "What would you take 65 million? That's how much I value him with the contract issue." Yeah, I mean, if he does sign a new deal, £65 million, I'll
sure would, because we can get his replacement for a third of that.
Yeah. Animal saying, if we get Sessing Young, do you see him getting minutes immediately to work on his match fitness? I think that's Mitchell's spot.
I think it's Mitchell's spot. I think he'll get minutes. But that's Mitchell's spot, though. I
think he needs minutes for the sake of Mitchell more than him as well, because we used Tyreek for the past few seasons. Like, we need to make sure we balance him out and we don't literally push him to his last bit of life and just injure Tyreek. So I think he will be getting minutes, but how many minutes?
It's important for him to get minutes on. And another people, and we talked about this a little bit, D, and that people aren't talking enough about. Tariq's going into a contract season.
Yeah.
So you need somebody to come along and present some ability, some capability in that position in the event that we can extend him. Like, that's because that's a real situation that nobody's talking about. Is the fact that he may not re-sign with us and he's in his contract season. So having somebody like a Session in place.
I'll be shocked if he doesn't. I think he will. I
hope so.
Mitchell still gets hyped up, but the interest has kind of gone under the radar. I don't really see that many people talking about
I
Guehi.
have not seen anything about him in a long time.
Maybe it was good that he didn't actually go to Euros for that case with his contract situation.
Yeah,
Maybe there was a benefit. I mean,
probably would have been getting offers like low ball offers for him because of the fact that he's going into that contract year.
Yeah, maybe that's a positive out of all the situation
Mm-hmm.
about getting
Yep.
selected. If we're being, if we're thinking with just our Palace bias, and we're also saying if United offered Wan-Bissaka as part of a Guehi deal, can he be an effective right centre back like Klein? Hypothetically, for me, we kind of need to get over the Wan-Bissaka thing. If we sell Guehi, I don't want Wan-Bissaka. I just want the money and let us sort our own replacements. The replacements that we've been rumored with, like Lefroy, I'd rather him than get Wan-Bissaka back and use that money elsewhere. So I think when you're trading players, of course, United paid £50 million for him. I don't think right now they will get that much for Wan-Bissaka.
Right.
It just gets a bit more complicated. Just give us money. Let us do our own thing with the money. No, Wan-Bissaka is not a centre-back. So in a way, it would be a gamble. But for me, I think you could do an effective job there. But I don't know about UT, but I wouldn't want to do a trade deal like that. I'd rather have the money.
I think the nostalgia comes in, and some people probably would be okay with that type of move. I mean, it definitely would be a learning situation for Aaron Wan-Bissaka because I'm not sure he has a lot of experience with playing that role.
Well, Klein didn't, and Glasgow still
Yeah,
had it.
so maybe I mean I think he probably would fit into that situation even better than a Klein, but still
Exactly.
I don't know if that's a long-term solution, should I say?
Yeah, and I don't know if Palace would want that.
And I honestly think even if we did make that move where we did money plus Wan-Bissaka, I still think we would go out and get another center back, personally. But the thing is,
it's a bit too much.
I honestly don't. I honestly don't think it's too much because we still haven't brought in a right wing back yet. So Wan-Bissaka has a little bit of positional versatility.
As a right wing
Yeah,
back.
he might have some positional versatility there for us, which is something that we love. But
then if you use that deal, then I mean, how much money do we realistically get for Guehi if we include
probably like 40 to 50.
I don't think so.
Well,
Wan-Bissaka would not do that. I think if they include Wan-Bissaka, they're not paying that much money.
You don't think so? If we right now, like logically we're saying
Everton are asking offers around like £70 million. They're putting offers around 40. Of course, they're going to start low, but it seems like they're kind of a bit more.
So what I'm saying is, so if somebody's evaluation like for Branthwaite, I think they were like 70 something million, and they offer 40, and we're like, no, 40 is not enough, but you give us 40 plus Wan-Bissaka, we can talk. You know what I'm saying?
They're not doing that. Honestly, there's no way on earth I believe that they will do that. 40 plus Wan-Bissaka. How much you Wan-Bissaka?
That's what teams. That's literally the thing that teams are doing right now to avoid PSR stuff that people are getting pissed off about.
Well, how much is Wan-Bissaka worth?
Probably about 20 some odd million.
I don't think in today's market they'll sell it for 20. I don't think so.
You don't think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to go somewhere for 20 some million?
They would want as much as the money back as well. The way they're moving, I just don't have no confidence that they will give us a good offer if they.
So if Wan-Bissaka was to go somewhere right now, what do you think? What do you think Wan-Bissaka's worth just alone?
Realistically, probably around like 25.
So like I said, we put up. So somebody like Guehi would.
But then
we're putting the value at. You don't think they would do that?
They'll overvalue him. They spent £50 million on him, and if we're including a trade deal, I just don't see United paying £40 million plus Wan-Bissaka for Marc Guehi. I just don't see that happening. Because in that situation, I think, well, if that's happening in the first place, then Guehi's not signed a new deal. They're looking at that. Based on how they're approaching with Everton, with the centre-back situation, I think they're going to play hard to get. Like, they're not going to be easy negotiators. Before the old United, potentially, they made some desperate moves and overpaid for players. But this one, I think with Ineos, they kind of want to be a bit more smart with their business. So I don't think they would be willing to split. Look, let us know in the chat, by the way. What do you think? Do you think that United might accept an offer of Guehi plus 40, Wan-Bissaka plus 40 million for Marc Guehi. I personally don't think so. He says potentially. Let us know in the chat what you think as well. Animal saying, what does the future hold for my boy Wardy? Will he wind down his career with us?
Oh man, wait a minute.
Best case scenario, as good as Wardy's been this goes for Pine as well. They're just there to add up numbers and hope you don't use them as much.
Man United just lost in a
Rosenberg
to Rosenberg. And guess who was in the lineup for them?
Wan-Bissaka.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And they lost 1-0 to Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, Mason Mount, Marcus Rashford.
I don't think they're going to have a great season anyways. I don't know what they're thinking about keeping Ten Hag for another year. I think another 2 years. Is it another year or another 2 years? They
just extended them, didn't they? Didn't they extend?
Yeah, they extended them for another 2 years. It just gives you. It doesn't give that much confidence. It might be a year or 2 years. It's like you extended him, but it's not like a 4 to 5 year contract. It's like, let's see how things play out. It just seems like, let's just try it out rather than getting full faith. And I don't know what's going to change with Ten Hag. I really don't. But they've done. They're trying to do business. Euro as well. Over in France, they're trying to sign him, but Real Madrid won him. So they are after centre back. So Guehi could be a potential destination there. But yeah, they've got 2 year deals for Ten Hag. So yeah. And also with Guehi, speak to United fans, they're a bit worried. I mean, that's why in this report, Guehi has been mentioned, because maybe Man United are not after him as much due to his height, because Martinez also isn't tall as well. And I remember talking to Saeed, for example. He said, that's the thing. Martinez and Guehi, I don't know if we're just lacking height there. So that's why they might not go after Marc Guehi after all anyways. So the whole situation might not even happen. But look, chat, we're going to wrap up now. It's good to be back after the Euros. Finally, club football. That's the focus. Friday, there is a game. Let's see if we could do a watch along or not. Let's see. I'm tempted. It will be in the afternoon. So we'll see about that. But if you have enjoyed this, though, like, subscribe, thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks to every single one of you that's watched this. That's it from me and T. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.